Welcome to the Pet Loss Journals podcast. I am your host Louise. This podcast is all about the reality and impact pet loss has on our lives, and I will be discussing my personal journey through pet loss. So if you are struggling on your own pet loss journey, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to episode 14. This week I will share a journal entry from the 3rd of August 2020. I will get straight into it. On Sunday I made a scrapbook of the dogs' lives. I wrote some little notes in there too. I felt at peace doing it. And it was an idea that just came to me. I still have bad anxiety and get triggered by certain things, but I am getting there, slowly healing and trying every day to focus on the incredible things in my life. I am much more content living on my own now. I enjoy cooking what I want, having my things where I like them in the house, and listening to whatever music I like. That was this week's journal entry. It was a short and sweet entry, but also loads to unpack from this particular journal entry. First of all, the fact that I made a beautiful scrapbook, and I remember doing this, and it was all of the things. It was emotional. It brought back so many memories. It was just incredible because what I found so lovely about it is that nowadays we have all of our photographs, our pictures, everything, videos, everything is digital. Everything is on our phone. Everything is saved into the cloud. But actually, when I physically brought a memory stick into a shop and printed out so many pictures of the dogs, it was nearly alien to me. It was so bizarre because I felt like I hadn't done that since I was in school. So I know that maybe a lot of people do that still, but I know personally for me, I hadn't done it in so many years. So it was really quite special. I did have some pictures of the dogs in the house, but definitely not that many. And when I got all of these printed, I just loved physically having the photos in my hand, and I think it's different. I think it transports you back to that memory, a more vivid memory of when that photo was taken, where it was, and so on. Maybe the sights, the sounds, the smells, all of this kind of stuff, compared to looking at a digital photo on a laptop or on a phone. And it may be an idea for some of you that are listening that if you're ready to do something like that, to make a scrapbook of your cat, your dog, your horse, whatever animal that you had in your life. And really what's special about it is we can make it whatever way we like. We can write little notes in there. We can make it arts and crafts. We can do a little painting of them in there as well, if you're artistic. But even doing a scrapbook like this is creative, is artistic, and I wouldn't have been artistic at all. And putting I made little collage photos in certain pages, and like a little collage of the two of them at the beach, where there was beach photos and this kind of thing. I remember doing it. I remember feeling emotional doing it, which is completely normal. And I remember smiling, I remember laughing at certain photos, and it was very peaceful doing it. So if that's something that you feel guided to do, please do go and search for a nice scrapbook in a shop and go in physically with your memory stick and get your photos printed out in whatever way that you would normally do that. The whole process is quite lovely to do, I felt. So I did mention here that I still have bad anxiety and get triggered by certain things. So to get into that, because this journal entry is from August 2020, coming close to a year that they were gone. So getting triggered by certain things, what I meant by that is I was getting triggered by other dogs that looked similar to my two. That would cause me to get triggered. And when I say that, I mean a response would happen in my body. So generally an anxiety-filled response or panic response. Sometimes post-traumatic stress response, so flashbacks and so on. If I was in a situation, in a house, somebody's house, and, they were a family with their dogs and so on, and seeing them dote on the dogs and loving them and cuddling them, that would elicit a response within my body also, and I would find myself having to escape that situation because the panic and the emotion, the lump in my throat, the tears would want to come out. I'm fighting back the tears, I'm fighting back the emotion, simply because I had what they had. I was in that situation. I was in a family. I was in a relationship, and we had 2 dogs. We were responsible for our 2 gorgeous dogs. And all of that was wiped out, disappeared. And that, triggered me in certain ways. And other ways is if I was out walking, and I was coming across a lot of pet owners walking their dogs, and I kind of found that really overwhelming, and that was difficult because sometimes what was even more difficult was when I was out walking and I saw a pet owner treat a dog unfairly. That would really get me. That would really get me in my heart, because I would say to myself, or I would say to them in my mind, you have no idea how short of time or how short your pet's life is, and why would you want to hurt them or upset them or cause them to be afraid in any way? And this is something that I really struggled with, and the anger would definitely show up there a lot. Anger like, why can't some pet owners be responsible pet owners? Keep the safety of their pets as a priority. Walking them in built up areas without leads. Accidents can happen so easily. I found myself, overanalyzing those situations and getting angry and upset. And their lives are so precious, and I would get upset watching some of these pet owners because they were taking it for granted. They weren't being responsible. They weren't providing that safety that the pet truly, truly needed. Something else that caused me to have really difficult responses was roadkill. I was used to do a lot of driving for work and so on, visiting friends and things like that. If there was some kind of animal that had been killed on the road and was lying there, oh my God, I never knew that this would happen to me, but it would cause a panic attack. I would have to pull my car over and try to regulate my breathing. This happened frequently for a couple of years. This was a very difficult thing to navigate because it was out of my control and I could not control it. This was something that I tried my best to, do some deep breathing and so on, but it would just send me into a spiral of panic and anxiety. I would have to wait till that dissipated and get going on the road again and drive. That was particularly difficult. Almost when I saw these poor dead animals on the road, it would transport me back. I could visualize the scenes of, my dog in the back garden that had died, and it was almost a flashback kind of scenario. So the PTSD basically. And when I seeked to get some help with that specific issue, I had some cognitive behaviour therapy, and my therapist was excellent at describing what was actually happening in my brain when those situations happened, when those traumatic events happened. And it was eye-opening that I could understand, okay, well, I know what's happening in my brain now because I have the knowledge, and I learned some new skills in how to regulate my breathing, how to bring my senses, how to ground myself back into the present moment. This is all something that can be worked on. And I feel for you if you're experiencing any of these responses in your body. I think that it's really important for me to share more, specifically what I was experiencing, because it really shows that that's how grief manifests, and it is a normal reaction to a major loss event. Also, in the journal entry, I mentioned something similar that I had mentioned in a previous episode. I mentioned here, I'm trying every day to focus on the incredible things in my life, and by that I definitely meant the people in my life that I care about and that care about me the most. My job and my health and, my house and everything else, and trying to focus on the incredible things that I have in my life, to focus on those. But again, although this is a positive sentence, this can also be a little bit unhelpful, because I'm trying to tell myself and have that narrative that I want to stay focused on just the good things and try to distract myself and suppress all of the bad emotions, the panic attacks, the PTSD. Therefore, it's not incredibly helpful. I do mention that I'm getting there, slowly healing. I do believe that when I say that sentence, that is me coming from a place of time will heal scenario, and the intensity of what I was feeling may have dissipated slightly, but that was simply because I know now that was simply because of I was suppressing my emotions. I was running away from my emotions. I was burying how I was feeling. I do, however, love the way that I've said that I am more content living on my own now, and I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy, leaving my house the way I like it, listening to the music that I like, and so on. So I remember this, and I feel warm and fuzzy inside when I remember this, because I had been living with my ex for 6 years, and this was such an amazing time that I could have living on my own now, feeling independent, cooking what I liked, and nobody asking me any questions, nobody to please, looking after my own needs instead of somebody else's needs. And that's what I really get from this sentence, that I was making my needs a priority. Even though I was deep in grief, I was still looking and noticing, and I was aware of why I was feeling content living on my own. Even though it was really difficult to go through something so intense on my own, it was really, really incredible that I was acknowledging that I was enjoying now living on my own. It did take a while, but I was getting to that stage, and I feel happy reading over that, and I feel content reading over that, because I was feeling content at that moment. There was mixture of emotions, and I think this journal entry really highlights again that roller coaster of grief, that up and down, the waves, the intensity, the shallow waves, it's just, there is no set way to grieve. There is no set timeline. Your feelings are valid within the healing journey that you're on. Your feelings are so valid that if you're writing them down and then you read over them, that you'll maybe remember that moment, remember how you feel during it. So I just want to say that no matter how low you feel, or if you're triggered by so many different things following the loss of your companion animal, I want you to know that you're not alone, that I hope that these episodes are of some comfort to you, and that you can begin to feel better, and you will be able to experience joy in your life again. It's so possible, and that you are not alone. If you are feeling overwhelmed and struggling at the minute while grieving the loss of your companion animal, I am holding a pet loss support group program. This is going to begin on the 24th of October, Tuesday 24th of October, and this will be a 6-week online group support program. The details will be in the show notes, but if you feel guided or compelled to register, please click that link, and if you have any specific questions about the program, please don't hesitate to reach out and contact me. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this week's episode. Remember, your pet loss grief is real, and it is so valid. Please be gentle on yourself. Until next time, take care.